Hello everyone, and welcome to the NEATEC Electronics Series. This video is about Karnaugh maps, so let's get started. Alright everybody, so what I've done here is I have written out or drawn a sample truth table here, okay? And this is what I'm talking about right here. We only have two variables, and you can see it starts at 0, 0, and 1, 0, 0, 1, and 1, 1. All right. Now the output, whatever the value is here, I'm just going to label it A, B, C, and D. Okay, now look, A can be 0 or 1, B can be 0 or 1, C can be 0 or 1, and D can be 0 or 1. But I'm just using them as variables now, and I'm doing that for a reason. I want to show you how to fill out a Karnaugh map from a truth table, alright? Now a Karnaugh map basically looks like this. It's a square grid. Now we have two variables, right? I'm going to call this side A and this side B. I'm going to call this A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime because I don't want to get them confused, all right? And I'm going to put a little parentheses around each one of them. So in this case, A can be 0 or 1, right? When I write my zeros, usually I put a slash through them. And B can be 0 or 1, right? Now, when A is 0 and B is 0, like right here, A is 0, B is 0, we're looking at this value right here, A prime, right? A prime will go right here, the value of what's in your truth table will go right there, right? A prime. When A is 0 and B is 1, it's going to go right, A is 0, B is 1, that's going to have B prime, right? Well, B prime is going to go right here, isn't it? Now let's look down here. When A is 1 and B is 0, looks like you're in this row, right? A is 1, B is 0. Looks like you have C prime. And finally, when A is 1 and B is 1, that's D prime, isn't it? And that's what you would have right here. Got it? And this right here, that is a 2 by 2 K-map. Now, when you use a K-map, you generally transfer the truth table into the K-map, and we're going to do several more of these. Then once you have them transferred, the next step is you group them, and we're going to talk about that. Then after you group them, you then can create a Boolean expression for the circuit. All right? So this gives you another method to create a circuit. Okay? That's what this is for. So I'm going to change this right now on you. I'm going to take this out. Alright, I'm going to get out my eraser and erase this. Just erase that one. And just erase this one. Now, let's say our truth table was this. Go ahead and pause the video and fill in your K-map, your 2x2 K-map, and then turn it back on and we'll do it together. Okay, so let's look at it. For A, when A is 0 and B is 0, we're looking at this right here, Y is going to be 1. There you go. When A is 0 and B is 1, we are here, Y is going to be 1. When A is 1 and B is 0, Y is going to be 0. And when A is 1 and B is 1, I'm sorry, 0, Y will be 0 for the other one. There you go. There's your K-map, 2x2. All right? Okay, so that we're going to try another K-map next. Okay? All right, everyone. Welcome back. And I just created another truth table. Now, as you can see, this one's different because this K-map uses 3 variables instead of 2. We have A, B, and C, right? So let's draw a K-map for this truth table, shall we? It's going to look a little different. Alright, there's our separator for our variables. Now, I'm going to have one variable here. Now, let's come down. Mess them up like this. There we go. I draw things a little differently here because I have the ability to in this software. It's very nice. It allows me to clean it up. But there we go. Alright? That's what your K-map is generally going to look like. Okay? Now, is connected here. Alright. Now this side is going to be A, B, and this up here is going to be C. Alright? C can be either 0 or 1. Now, pay attention to this closely. A and B. That's going to be 0, 0. Order on your K-map is important, so don't change the order of the rows. Okay? The next one is 1, 0. Now here's your change. The third one's going to be 1, 1. And then finally, this one, the last one, will be 0, 1. Alright? Notice this is not in the same order. This is not in the same order as in a truth table, right? A truth table you would say 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. But that's not how they go, you list them in a K-map, okay? So now, and C can only be 0, 1. So let's start filling them in, shall we? So when they're all 0, A is 0, B is 0, C is 0, we're at this point right here, right? It's going to be a 1, isn't it? All right. What about this side? That's when A is 0 and B is 0, but C is equal to 1, and that's going to be a 1, isn't it? How about this one? If you notice, this is a group of 2, and A is 0 and B is 1, so we're on this row right here, right? We're on that row right there. Now, when C is 0, it's a 0. Got it? And when C is 1, it's a 1. Now let's move down to the next one. When A is 1 and B is 1, we're in this row right now in your K-map. If you notice, that's where A is 1 and B is 1 on your truth table. So with A1 and B1 and C0, it's going to be a 1 in it. And the same thing when C is equal to a 1, right? Now finally we're working on the final row, and that's when A is 1 and B is 0. That looks like we're working right here, doesn't it? Now obviously they're both 0, right? So that'd be a 0, and that'd be a 0. Alright, so there's your K-map for that truth table. That truth table had 3 variables, and this is what it's going to look like, okay? Now, let me just clear all these things off here. This is what I was showing you, what my intent was. There you go. Next, we're going to do one with 4 variables. See you soon. All right, everybody. So what I did here is I didn't create, but I drew a truth table for you. And this one has 4 variables, A, B, C, and D. I also drew the shell of a Karnaugh map, and this is a 4x4 Karnaugh map, right? 4 across the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 across the side, right? 16 cells total. So let's do the process of filling them in. But wait, there's one thing I wanted to tell you. Notice these. This is the same thing we talked about on the last truth table. Notice when you draw these 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. These are switched. Again, they're not the same order as in a truth table. The reason why I'm emphasizing this is because most students, when they start working on these Karnaugh maps, that's where the problem lies. Okay? So don't forget that, alright? So, let's just go through the process of filling them in, shall we? So the first one, notice how I drew this truth table, by the way? I drew it in groups of 4. See that? So the first group of 4 is when A and B are 0. When A and B is 0, it looks like we're on this row, right here. And they're all 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, they're all 1s there? So we'll fill it in. Got it? Now, let's look at the next group of 4. That's when A and B are, B is 1, A is 0, right here. Got it? Right here. So let's look at it. 0 is 0, and C is 0, and D is 0, it's a 0. Got it, right? Now, when D is 1 and C is 0, it's a 1. D is 1, C is 0, it's a 1. Alright, so we got this one, we got this one. What about this next one? Well, we want to look at 1, 1, which is right down here, right? So at 1, 1, y is equal to 1, isn't it? So here's your 1, 1 right here. That's your 1, 1, so y is equal to 1. And then finally, we'll look at 0, 1, which is right here. That is going to equal that right there. That's equal to a 0, isn't it? All right. Now, let's look at the next group. If you notice, the next group is when A and B are 1, 1. And that is down here, isn't it? And if you notice, this group, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This, that's identical to this group, isn't it? So this is going to be the same. 0, 1, 1, 0. Now finally, we have the remaining group, and that's when A is equal to 1, B is equal to 0, right there. And if you notice, those values for y right here, they're all 1s, aren't they? All right, everybody. It looks like now you have your K-map, right? If I can just clean this up for you. Just want it to look good for you, so I have this extra writing, and I don't want you to get confused about what actually the K-map entails. Now when you actually do the K-map, sometimes it's good to write these groupings on a piece of paper like this with a different color. It'll just help your eyes follow it, because you're going, when you're making a K-map, your eyes are going from the K-map back to the truth table, from the K-map back to the truth table, and so on, right? It's easy to lose your place. So this may help you. Remove that, remove that. That was for an example, and this was for an example. There's your K-map, right? So fantastic. Now we've gone through all 3 types of K-maps and how to fill them in from the truth table. Next, we're going to talk about grouping. See you soon.